Hi all, it's Lonnie with Art Ripples, and today we're gonna be painting some pumpkins. So gather all your supplies, your canvas, your brushes, your paints, a water cup, a napkin, and get ready to paint with me. Or if you've bought the art kit, get everything out and get ready to paint right along with me. So our pumpkins today, we're going to start with the background. So I'm going to do a light gray color on our background. And I'm using, it's a 3/4 inch flat brush. Bigger space, bigger brush. This is kind of how I figure out what size brush I want to use. I just go by the size of the space that I want to paint. So this is the lighter gray that I am using here on my canvas. And this background is kind of like maybe some wood, some aged wood. So I'm just going horizontally here on this top part. And I'm going to take my round brush and go into the darker gray. And I'm wetting my brush so that it'd be nice and soft. Taking some of the darker gray, and I'm going to kind of go on these lines with the darker color gray. If it doesn't slide, sometimes this happens like just now, right? It doesn't slide across really easily. I wet my brush and wet the paint, and that helps to slide across. And this is kind of like the creases in the wood or in between the wood, right? So I'm not worried way too much about what it looks like because it's going to be covered a little bit by the light gray color. And I'm working on an easel right now for this, but if you feel more comfortable putting it on your table, laying it flat on your table to do this, then that, of course, is another way to do it, which varies person to person, right? If you prefer to have it flat on your table or up on an easel. Sometimes I prefer flat, sometimes I prefer an easel. But I learned to paint on an easel, so sometimes I find that I get a different perspective when I'm flat. So again, this is the darker gray. If you've purchased the kit, you'll see that there's a darker and a lighter gray. Okay, so I just kind of did the outlines, and now I'm going to come back and go back to my lighter gray and continue to um, fill in my background. So this one is going horizontally, this one is going vertically. This is a fun pumpkin piece to do in the fall. Something you can put up in your home. Fall decor. And again, remember that this is fun, stress-free. Don't try to be too perfect. It's a little whimsical. Whimsical is good. Enjoy the process. Turn on some music. Grab your favorite drink. Have coffee today. That makes it fun. You can also gather friends together to do this. How fun would this be at a gathering where you have family or friends all together and everyone's painting? If you're seeing this video, you're most likely part of the Art Ripples group, or you've bought a kit. So if you're part of the Art Ripples group, then you can absolutely use this tutorial and gather up family or friends and have a paint night. That would be a lot of fun, and you're more than welcome to use the tutorials that are in the group. And if you've bought a kit and you're seeing this tutorial, you have the option, right? You can go to my Art Ripples group and join the group and see a lot of other tutorials. Or you can buy kits for everyone in the in your group or for a family gathering, and then everyone can do this. How much fun to have activities going when you have a group of friends over, or fellowshipping, maybe a church group or any group, really. Co-workers. So we're just working on the background. Of the pumpkins. Just the background right now. And if you are doing this, I would give myself or I'd give your group a good 2 hours to finish, to complete this painting. A good 2 hours would be nice time so that no rushing, and there'll be some chit chatting in between. So here where I'm going around the pumpkin's stem, if you notice this way my brush is fat when it comes down, this way it's thinner. So I'm turning my brush, or you can just use a smaller brush, smaller space. If you've bought the kit, you can change to your round brush in this area. For example, here is little space, little brush. And that's okay, I might come in here and make this darker with the darker gray, but for now I'm going to leave it at that. So now I think I have all my light gray down. I'm going to do the bottom right here in the darker gray. This bottom is more like a table where it would be on, or something similar to that. Just so our pumpkins are not floating. The kit comes with an 11 by 14 wrapped canvas, so you'll have sides, so you'll want to paint your sides. So this bottom color, I'm taking it all the way to the side. I would do the same with the light gray all the way around. So I'm going to go back with my round brush, and I'm going to go back over the dark gray, the lines that I wanted originally in there. So I put them in there even though I covered them up, just to help me remember where they were. It's a little wet, but I usually use my pinky to steady my hand when I'm trying to do a straighter line. And I'm not looking for perfectly straight, right? This is aged wood, so it's not cut perfectly. I'm going to put a knot in my wood up here using still the darker color. I could still see where the outline was for the knot in the wood. And again, I'm just going over my lines with the dark color, dark gray. Same as before, wet your brush if it's not sliding. That will help. There we go. Nice and easy and fun. There we go. That looks good. All right. Oh, I think I had a little knot right there that I missed. So I'm going to come back with that dark gray and I'm going to make my little knot right there. And if you bought the kit, it's pre-printed so you can see the knot right through the gray, which is pretty awesome. All right. So now I'm going to get started on the pumpkins. I'm going to work on the big pumpkin first because the little pumpkin is in front. So my big pumpkin is going to be orange and white. So I bought this spiced pumpkin color, which I like. It's kind of like a deeper orange. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a deeper orange and white. Okay, so I washed off my brush. I'm coming in here with the white first. I'm going to start here in the middle. And I'm just putting white in the middle of my pumpkin. Right here. Bigger brush, bigger space. Then I'm going to dip it slightly in my orange. See how little bit I have on there? And that's going to change this color. It's actually going to wind up changing the orange too, but and so now what I'm doing is I'm dipping it in the white and the orange. So the orange is kind of going to be on the outsides of my pumpkin, and the white is going to be in the center of this space of my pumpkin. And it may turn the inside a little bit orange, but that's okay, that's what you want. You want it to be kind of darker where the lines are and lighter in the center. And again, remember, this is fun painting. I don't have my music going right now because I'm talking, but I consider putting on the music. There's the first part. That's how easy that was. Now we're going to do the same thing on the sides, right? So I'm going to take it, and my brush is kind of dirty, but I'm dipping it in the white. And what I mean dirty means it still has paint from the other side, from what I used it from, the orange. But there it is. I'm put some white in the middle, take a little bit of the orange, a little bit again for my edge, my pumpkin. If you have trouble with the big brush around the corners, what do? Smaller space, smaller brush, bigger space, bigger brush. If you have trouble going around the corners, change to a smaller brush. If you bought the kit, that's why there's a smaller brush in there, to make it easier. Anything that makes it easier. That's what I think should be done. There is a million ways to get the same look, the same technique, a million different brushes. The kit comes with this brush and the round brush. So I'm trying to do it with this brush so you can see that it can be done with this brush. If you're doing it on your own and you have an arsenal of brushes like I do to your disposal, then you may want to try doing this with an angled brush. That will probably give you a different feel when you're working with that brush. So I'm coming in here darkening my bottom. Just gonna darken the bottom of this a little bit, and I do that by just picking up some more orange. Guess what we do now? The next side. See how fun this is? How easy? Especially if it's pre-printed. Now, if you're just following along and you're doing this with your own supplies and you're just following this, you can also do the whole background first. Let it dry and then come in and do the pumpkins over your dry background. That would work too. I'm doing it this way because I'm for those who have the kit and have it pre-printed on here, or for those who, even if you're just following me with your own supplies but chose to use the tracer and trace the pumpkins. A lot of times when I'm drawing pumpkins for myself or friends or anything that I really want to do on my own, I just freehand the pumpkins. So there you have it. There you have pumpkin number 1 done. Well, the pumpkin part, not the stem part. So now we're going to do pumpkin number 2. I'm going to wash out my brush. And in pumpkin number 2, he's going to be kind of a white and blue pumpkin. So again, if you have the kit, you should have a blue color. And of course the white. And I'm actually using an ocean blue. Again, the pumpkin, I'm going to start in the middle with just white. And then barely any blue. Barely any blue on my brush. Because it's a little bitty pumpkin, right? So as I mix this with the white, you'll see that it kind of even lightens the blue a little bit even more. And that is good. Same thing on the other side, my dirty brush. Painting the side white. Using my brush at an angle, right this way, not this way, but this way, just to get in there. And what else can you do? You can change to a smaller brush. Smaller space, smaller brush. Next side, same thing. It's kind of like making parentheses. And there we have our blue pumpkin. They're not outlined yet. They'll be outlined, but for right now, I like the way that looks. All right, switching to the smaller brush, using the golden color. Antique gold. Kind of looks like mustard if you have the kit. We're going to do our stems. So I'm going to come in here, smaller brush. You can use either brush, whichever one you're comfortable with. You can actually switch brushes while you're doing this. Bigger space, bigger brush, smaller space, smaller brush. I'm going around the edges with my small brush. Maybe move into my bigger brush in a bigger space. I'm still using the exact same brush I was using before. I'm going to clean it off. Here's my example with the bigger brush. Don't be afraid to use a smaller brush. If you need to, you use whatever brush is comfortable for you. When I get into a tighter space, I can switch to a smaller brush. Now, I am painting this guy using acrylic paints, which are very nice because they're extremely forgiving. If you make a mistake, don't worry, let it dry and you can go right back over it. For example, I realized in here should be gray. It's not really a mistake, it's kind of like I just forgot to do it. That spot. So I will go back and fill it in a little bit. So there is one of the stems. Then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing for my other stem. This is still the antique gold color. I'm going in the direction that I want my eye to go. So I'm just following my stem around. There we go. I'm going to come in here and use the light gray that I did for the background and fill in this piece, which is the wall or the wood behind it. How's that? I'm going to come in here with some more of that very light gray. And just some areas where I saw that needed to be covered up a little bit more. I think that looks good. This is a perfect little space right here to write. Happy fall, y'all. Now wouldn't that be cute? Now I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to dip it in my darker gray, only the tip, like this. I'm going to come brush in some lines. Just brush in some lines like this, just to give my wood some wood look. Some distressed look. Kind of rough because I wetted a little there, so gotta kind of let that dry. But it's a nice distressed look. And for your wood. And this was the darker gray down here. So to distress the darker gray, you have to put in the lighter gray, right? So there's our pumpkins, right? Now I'm going to do some kind of like distressing a little bit and framing it out a little bit. So I'm going to come over here with my really small brush and I'm going to start to outline with the darker gray my pumpkins, but I'm not going to outline it completely. I'm just using some short strokes. And I'm coming in here and just kind of giving it a little bit of an outline. And this is with the darker gray. You can outline the whole thing if you wish. If you're doing this on your own and you have other tools like a palette knife, you can palette knife the pumpkin edges, and that will give it a nice rustic look. This is just giving it kind of a finished look. Again, remember these are whimsical, fun. Don't try to make it perfect straight line. Have fun with it. Let the brush kind of do a little bit of its thing. So it becomes outlined in the dark gray. And let me show you, for example, if you were to palette knife, if you have a palette knife, I think the wind just shut my back door. So I use my palette knife, has some edges. I pick up a little bead of the color on the edge, right? Just pick up a little bead of it. And then I put it on my edge and kind of pull in, move it up and down and pull in. Laying your palette knife almost flat, and it gives it a very rustic look. I'm gonna come back here though with the small brush. That's what's in the kit, the small brush. But if you're going to continue to paint, I do suggest getting some palette knives. And you can go around the edge of everything you want here. I love the way it looks when it's outlined. Now being very careful right here, depending on which way you want the stem twirl to go. So this is going to twirl in front of it. So since it's twirling in front of it, right here, I'm not going to go across. I'm going to come on this side. And I'm going to follow my stem. Then I'm going to do the other one. one went behind. So that is pretty much our painting. Right here would be a nice saying, happy fall, y'all. That would be really, really cute there. I'm going to continue to work on mine because I like the rustic look. So I'm going to come in here and distress my pumpkins a little bit more. And you can add to yours if you wish. You can add some foliage, some branches, pretty much anything you wish. I would love, love, love to see it. If you've opted to add some more things, I think it would be awesome to see your paintings. Have fun with this. No one is judging you. Do this for yourself, not for anybody else. Enjoy it, have fun, make it what you want it to be. Use this time to relax, use this time to meditate. Right? A lot of times I can be in prayer when I'm painting, if I'm not teaching or having to talk through my paintings. Enjoy it. I love, love, love. Remember, there are more tutorials coming on the Art Ripples artist group, and on my Art Ripples Facebook page there are art kits where you can get all the supplies needed to finish your art piece. So I hope to see everyone's painting soon. Have a great day and catch you on the next video. Bye bye.